all
Yeah. Okay.
shit on him.
Fake smiles, walk miles in an obvious funk. Thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, I late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. I needed me some rainy days, so I needed me some rainy days, so no rest for the weary, so we teary eyes realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and breathe and connect to myself and all that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress. The rain be looking like what blessings dropping. And so I got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah. Let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord.
Good evening, everybody from Divided We Stand. This is Brian Weinstein, and it's around 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. We expected to have Kevin Wheeler on, and we still may have Kevin on, but I am kind of worried because I have not heard from him. I would doubt it has anything to do with the game last night, although I'm going to be frank with you. That World Series, it affected me emotionally, and I'm not even, from Canada, but it was, I would have to say, what I have never seen a World Series like that. I mean, we were talking about millimeters with everything, and it was very, very hard for my vascular system to deal with that series. And back when they lost, it was even worse. But such things happens, and I'm a Phillies fan, but that was gut wrenching, and it just took everything out of me. I couldn't watch anything today. It was whatever. But anyway, our concern now is Kevin, and hoping that Kevin's okay. I'm not alluding to anything. I just hope that Kevin's okay and he'll join us tonight. I usually hear back from him, but I have not. So let's keep Kevin in our minds here and our heart. Hopefully everything's okay, and we'll continue. But we are going to continue our show with David Price. He will be reporting from the good ship Lollipop. Yes, indeed. He is on another cruise, but he is here. He is badass because it doesn't matter that he's on a ship. He is ready to rock and roll on Divided We Stand as usual. Dave,
hey,
what's happening
peoples?
There?
Yeah, here. Haven't said so yet. In fact, how important this show is. As I speak, Paul Anka, speaking of somebody
He's
old,
a Canadian, isn't he?
Mr. Paul Anka is singing right now in the main theater. And tonight at 10:15 after the show, I get to go to see not one, not two, not three, but four Elvis impersonators doing Elvis. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Anyway, the thing is, I'm still working on my book about music cruising. And let's see, who do I get? Who do I have?
Do you have a title yet, or are you
up?
going to wait till the end?
Well, no, the working title,
Working title?
you always work and then talk to publishers. The working title right now is Rock Me on the Water, The Expanding World of Music Cruising. I've checked it out. It hasn't been used by anybody. Of course, you always steal your titles. That's stolen from a Jackson Browne song. But yeah, so that's 10. And let's see, who do I have interviewing? Let me think. Oh, yeah. Darlene Love.
Who's she?
Darlene Love, she was around the time, in fact, she sang on her most famous song, she never got acclaim for. He's a Rebel. They said the band was the Crystals. It wasn't, it was her. She was from that period, the girl group period. Then Little
Are you
Anthony,
talking like
Little
early
Anthony and
60s
the Imperials.
Girl group?
Pre-Beatles,
Like
that.
Early Supremes?
I was called.
Cordettes?
She predates the Supremes. They were later.
Does she do like Mr. Sandman or something like that, or
Well, not
like that?
She was a soul version of that.
Okay.
She was part of the Phil Spector Wall of Sound, that group, and she stayed very contemporary. David Letterman actually had her on the show for 20 some years to sing. She has a Christmas song, "Merry Christmas, Baby," that is like world famous. And you know who else is a very big fan is Bruce Springsteen and Stevie Van Sant. And so they've done albums with her and have her performed. And another Springsteen guy, Philly area guy, Gary U.S. Bonds. I don't know if you remember him or not. He's on here. And the one that's really
I just hope David Lee Roth is not on this one, because I don't know if you've heard him. He doesn't look like himself, and he certainly doesn't sound like himself.
This is music of the 50s and the early 60s. But
not my favorite, not yours either, I don't think.
No, not mine. This is actually Judy, my wife. She's thought
Dave,
her brother
is that coming from you? That sound?
No, that's from your end. Or maybe, wait a minute, the ship's going down. Maybe that was an abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. No.
Man, you're the last guy. You're captain tonight, all right?
I have no problem with that, no. But anyway, just to fit, Little Anthony, for anybody who's, probably not, we don't have too many people my age on the show, but Little Anthony predates me, but he was in a group called Little Anthony and the Imperials, and he was known for his falsetto, and he might be the only singer whose falsetto is as good. He's 86 now, and his falsetto is as good as it was when he was 16. So, and it's interesting that I get to interview a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, musicians, stage crew. So it's a fun
we
week.
have a note here, a personal note here. Gary Peacock partied with David Lee. Oh, hold it. Not David Lee Roth, but David Lee. Is that supposed to be an inside joke?
Well, that's true. I mean, it could have been David Lee Roth, too, because Gary, in his younger days, Mr. Peacock, actually, Mr. Peacock is he certainly knows a lot about music, but he's more into the theater. He was in acting, and also, his best friend at one point and college roommate was Robert Hedges
Right.
from Welcome Back, Kotter. So, I mean, he knows Travolta. He knows a lot of Hollywood people.
Epstein.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Epstein's Island,
cool.
right?
Yeah, that's who we have now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, well, let's look at some things. Brian, we usually do the trio,
Right.
the unholy trio. So I picked three. Didn't do a lot of research on them. Usually do more, but
All right.
having too much fun.
Let me
So,
get my
in no particular
trusty
order,
pen here, so we can.
in no particular order,
Okay.
we've got some disturbing things, I think,
right.
this week. One is Trump has called for a resumption of nuclear testing.
Right. And we have alluded to that whole deal with nuclear during our show
earlier, but
we
nuclear
have a
now,
real problem with that.
it is there. It's been 30 years since we've tested. So I think that's when it's somebody like Trump, when the words Trump and nuclear are put in one sentence, it's kind of disconcerting. Another thing, of course, you had was last night. No, I'm sorry, Halloween night, not last night. He had a huge party at Mar-a-Lago. I was
He had
in
these chicks
Florida. I
dancing
don't know
around.
why he couldn't ask me. Now, what's so interesting about that party, and we'll talk about it, is that is about as out of touch the theme of the party and what will happen tomorrow.
Mhm.
As you could as you could find. And one that I want to talk about a little bit tonight, since you brought up the World Series, is Trump and memes. I want to talk just a little bit about that. So, what one do you want to start with, bro? You pick.
I just actually Trump and meme. First of all, I have the nuclear testing, Trump and memes. What was the second one?
What did I say? Oh, the party. The theme
all
party
those
at Mar-a-Lago.
girls dancing. Before you do, I just want to bring this one thing up because I want everybody to see this because I know you had made a comment about this prior to our show, Dave.
Right,
Folks,
correct.
you may
We'll
have heard
talk
about this one here, but this is a short time lapse pictures of J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk, who has just been devastated, as you can clearly see from these photographs. She's clearly still devastated from her husband's death.
Well,
And
I will say this.
I want you to make a comment on both of these photos because there's really one. I want to concentrate on her and the other with him.
Since you got it up, let's start with that tonight then. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have here?
First of all, let's look at the sartorial choices of Erica Kirk.
Well, she has,
especially the hands.
Well, we'll go through that. Yes, that's what this was they were speaking to 10,000 of Erica and Charlie's fans. Okay, they're a Christian group, and she introduced J.D. Vance, and this is the way she introduced him, which caused a lot of people to make comments. Now, I like to believe that what happens between two adults, is between
That's
them,
fine,
and it's
right? But there's
no,
a but
I'm saying,
there.
but what I'm saying, and if a third adult is in, okay, let's do Clinton, Monica, and Hillary.
Mhm.
It's really to be resolved between those three, whatever they come up with, right? But there is a case when you're the president or the vice president of the country where that protection kind of leaves you. So here's what's weird about that. Okay, so you have the question becomes especially the picture of it, is that the look of a devastated woman? I don't know. She says she's cried a lot, and she's there. Also, her introduction, Brian, I don't know if you saw that. She actually said, "And here's a man that reminds me so much of my husband, and just like my husband." And
He looks just like him, right?
Well, no,
They're
but
both
what I think
creepy,
she was
I'll give her
trying to
that.
do, no, I really think what she was trying to do is win over her. They were her people, not his people, although they're usually one and the same. So, sometimes you don't think about what you're going to say and how it's going to come across. A lot of people put on the fact that she was, rubbing the back of his head as you would. That looks very romantic.
It's not only
she had on-
romantic. I mean, I don't know if you would consider that romantic or suggestive in any kind of way.
Well, both. I mean,
Right.
usually something's going to transpire if a woman has her
Because
hand,
it does
in the.
look like you can't see the other left hand. I mean, the left hand, but I would assume
Right.
that maybe she's got both hands behind his head.
I'm not, well, that's what I said. I don't know. The point is, if that's done in privacy, that's fine. But once you do it in public, you open yourself up. So what a lot of people were saying, how, um, how brokenhearted is she? But the timing was also very bad or very good, depending on how you're looking at this. JD Vance's wife is a Hindu,
Right.
and he had said he was questioned about that, and he said it in a way, again, not blown out of proportion, but kind of a little bit. He said, "Yes, I hope." The question was, how do you raise your children, in a mixed religious family, which is a valid question for anybody that has that. And he kind of said, well, the kids are being raised Christian. And then they said, well, what about your wife? And he's basically said, I hope someday she will come to understand, or she will come, and actually he didn't say it directly, but will convert to Christianity. So people were jumping on him for saying that. Then they're jumping on him for doing that out in public. A lot of women, you saw it on our page, some other pages, were
Hmm.
saying, "Okay, this is the new JD Vance. Give him a year, and she'll be the wife of the vice president." But we don't know any of that. But as we say, I think the thing that bears this is Erica Kirk, like her husband Charlie, has profess to be devout Christians. And the question becomes, uh, if you're going to be a devout Christian, then you should act as a Christian. And a lot of times I think what happens is they're not. Vance is still under scrutiny.
Yeah, it seems like it's his mine. Jesus, I gotta figure that out.
Scrutiny because he wears eyeliner. And of course, now we get to the real crux of the thing, is the fact that at one point, people believe that he was fucking couches. JD Vance never fucked a couch. I'm pretty sure about that. But the story got started, and what people point to that story about is, it's not whether he did it or not. It's that you believe he's the kind of guy who might, and I think he is. So they said, well, she dressed for him because her pants are just like a leather couch. And then another meme came out and had his wife's picture looking kind of distraught, and said, "What do you do when your husband, mauls another girl, and you can't make him sleep on the couch tonight because he just fucked that too?" So, it's just, we're in this weird time. Uh, JD Vance is a bad dude. Okay,
Hmm.
I don't know Mrs. Kirk to comment on her. I do know that Charlie Kirk is not the saint that people pretend he was. He was a racist. He was a hard person. He preached horrid things. And now I'm in a state, we haven't sailed yet, in Florida, that wants to have every college have a statue of Charlie Kirk on their campus. So again, we're in this very strange time where pop culture, religion, hate, love, it's all getting distorted. And at the center is Donald Trump. So I think that picture really was the meme of the week. I mean, nothing even close.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I think,
I just wanted to bring that up and get that out of the way. I will
yeah.
choose though.
Well, I think,
You mentioned.
I mean, again, it's kind of weird because what Trump does, or at least what I think Trump does, he makes people worse. All of us. Okay. All of us. His followers, of course, I wouldn't even really necessarily feel compelled to give them the time of day if they asked. But could that be me? I mean, it's still, um, there. Take off the full shot, right? Because I don't have it positioned right, and I can't move the camera. O'Brien, are you still with us, Bry? Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have an outage here. I don't know what's going on. That is very strange.
This thing's got to go up. I got a sugar on there right now. I can't get this
What's
thing.
going on?
damn goddamn things on.
What thing? What is that?
It's the stinking.
Is that your house burning down? What's happening, Brian?
Stepper?
People want to know.
Yeah.
Well, give it to me in the
I
other
can't.
room
I
at
can't.
least.
I can't get
Oh.
this.
When did that ever start happening?
Just last night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. We are having
Oh.
technical difficulties,
Yeah, just unplug it.
I guess.
Son of a bitch. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, no problem.
It was a stepper that was doing that. I'm sorry. Really?
A stepper.
Yeah, I have this battery for this stepper, which I don't use all that much. And last night, out of nowhere, it started beeping. So I thought, and I was ready to accuse you of making a mistake, that something was going on with the ship. But as it turned out, as I pulled out the earbud, I noticed that there's just some malfunction, and it just keeps beeping. Now it's done. I pulled it
Well,
out.
you know what? You were able to correct it,
And I admitted
and it was your
on
mouth.
my end, not yours.
And well, they're all Brian. There's never been one on my
Usually.
end, so.
Okay. But anyway,
No,
I'm sorry,
there's
Dave. So,
Oh, don't worry about it. No,
Okay.
I'm glad you were able to.
okay,
clear
so
it up.
I wanted
Um,
to choose the just so I don't know where you went with that, but I wanted to choose the
Right.
one that's probably the one that we shouldn't choose first. But I'm gonna, because we were kind of talking about Charlie Kirk and the insincerity of his wife. I would like to choose the party.
Yeah. Okay. Real quickly.
So if you can just explain
on one
to
hand,
everybody about the party.
as a former English teacher, and of course an English major in college, it's very great when the President of the United States decides to have a party, and he makes it a Great Gatsby themed party. However, there's a problem because Fitzgerald's novel is directed directly at Trump. And the type of person Trump is, and the type of Jay Gatsby is the main character in Great Gatsby, and he's very Trumpian, very much Trumpian. And then you've got Tom Buchanan, who steals Jay Gatsby's woman, Daisy and Tom. And there's a description in there, and their friends. They were the kinds of people that just tore things apart and were just bad people. And so Trump does this, and I don't know if everybody's seen all the music. There were dancing burlesque girls, not taking clothes off, but dancing. There was a girl in a giant wine glass, scantily clad. There was Trump smiling. There were a couple of shots taken and somehow released of the famous memes that young ladies do now, and even among you could say that's kind of unpresidential, and I think it is. But more than that is the timing. Just hours, literally, just hours before, I think the number's up to 44 million people could be hungry by Tuesday night.
Well, he's going to push it off
so
on the
it's
states, right? Basically.
Well, what it is. We keep seeing this again. Memes play so much in our culture. We keep seeing the thing like nothing says Marie Antoinette more than taking down a wing of the White House and putting up a ballroom that no one needs.
Right.
Then that was followed by nothing says Marie Antoinette when people are getting ready to starve, and instead of approving the funding, which is there, by the way, which is there for them, you get upset about the Lincoln bathroom and remake it.
I mean, all of this is
And you're-
unthinkable. I mean, just the idea.
Well,
he
and then-
smashes things
and-
down. He has
right.
these great Gatsby parties.
Then
I mean, what the
and then
fuck is
you
going
come
on?
to you come to this. Well, look, Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone other than Donald Trump. That's number one.
And we're not even just
There's-
saying that as like, well, he doesn't care.
No,
about
I'm not.
He
I'm-
really
it's
does
just
not
true.
care about
It's-
anybody.
It's like saying Donald Trump's middle initial is J. It's Donald John Trump. Donald Trump does not care about anybody himself is true. Now, even if he's pretending, it's not. Like there was a big deal, another big deal this week. Doesn't sound like a big deal. His granddaughter finished dead last, I think, in this competition. She's a golfer. And of course, Trump envisions himself as a golfer. He wins his own tournaments, but whatever. And they've waived the rules, and she can now be in this next tournament, which means somebody who could have been, isn't, who deserved it. So you've got all this stuff, and then you've got, the Trump doing this. It's not just insensitive. It doesn't even cross his mind. He doesn't care about this. I want to show off. I'm going to have this party. And I love the classic line that the Republicans put up. It's always good to have a party. Well, maybe not when America is facing crisis after crisis after crisis. Maybe that's not the time to have a party. And what we have is complete references to, as I say, the comparisons. There are three legitimate comparisons, I think, to what's going on, at least in terms of the money angle. One is the Gilded Age. That's the time of the Rockefellers and the Gettys and the Carnegies and all that, when wealth. A second time is the French Revolution. And we all know how that ended for the rich. So I'd be a little leery if I were them. And then the third time, of course, is ancient Rome, Nero, and that kind of thing. So there's no question that what he did was bad, except his supporters will just say, so what? So what? However, caveat, everyone, listen. If he does not, and the courts have already ordered him to restore the money.
Okay.
And of course and he came after that. So I don't know. One court said something. So I don't want to do anything wrong. No, you don't want to do anything at all. But what may happen, and I think will happen, is there are more white people than brown and black people getting SNAP, which is what we call food stamps, in America. And they're not going to get them. And a lot of them, a hell of a lot of them, voted for Trump. So we'll see. Okay. But if nothing else, as I say, that was beyond poor taste.
I want to add something to that, Dave, if you won't mind me saying this. I think we all have some Facebook friends who are just kind of tangential friends. You've met them through Facebook, and you might only see a post from them once every 6 months or something like that, but you still have them on your list and you just forget about it. Well, one of my Facebook friends, I don't really even know him that well. I'm not going to mention any names, of course, but he has been posting a lot of things about being down on his luck. Very Trumpian guy. And then today he posted something, I really need money from everybody. Please send me money. I'm down in the dumps and I'm losing benefits. And I haven't heard him say anything against Trump. You would think that after all of this shit that, he's promoting Trump, but he's having a really tough time. And obviously he's hurting because of Trump now. That you'd think he'd admit it. I mean, there's nothing to that. No, but now you do see them getting hurt.
Well, but also, Brian, it's very hard to admit you make a mistake for most people. Mm-hmm. For most people, that's difficult. And the bigger the mistake,
when that check doesn't come in, I mean, that's really
more reticent you are to say that. And remember, Trump always has an answer. This is not his shutdown. This is not Mikey Johnson's shutdown. This is not the Republican shutdown. This is the Democrat shutdown. Well, there's a problem with that because the Republicans, and I've got into a big debate with a bunch of Trumpers this week. Republicans hold the presidency, they hold the House, they hold the Senate, and they hold the Supreme Court. So anything that really happens or doesn't happen in America is a direct result of the Republican Party. I don't care to discuss it. There's no reason to discuss it. Mm-hmm. But see, with the person you're talking about, if he really believes in Trump, he's going to believe Trump when Trump says it's a Democratic problem. They're causing it, and I'm not going to say that all Trumpers are stupid. They're not, okay? But a large
they could be all be selfish. I mean, or
well, no, I'm saying a large percentage do come from. They said, well, you know what they said? There was an interesting study, and you have to be careful with studies, right? Done not too long ago, and this was for Trump's first time around. His first. One of they looked at, well, what makes a person a Trumper? Against something, and you know what they found, Brian? It was actual distance living from the home in which you were born in. The closer you were to that, the more chance you had of voting for Donald Trump. I found that fascinating. And what that means is, if you were born in a small town in Iowa and never left, you have small town Iowa views. The Midwest, and you've seen those maps they put out, which is so funny. They'll show all the red in the country and then just a little bit of blue. But that little bit of blue is LA, Chicago,
Right,
New York
right.
City. Well, it has more people,
Right. So,
So,
the map itself is propaganda because it doesn't
well,
accurately reflect
unfortunately,
reality.
Brian, and that'll kind of get to the one meme with Trump. I never thought I would say this, but I'm going to say this, and I mean it, and I've been burnt too. You cannot believe a thing you read on the internet. Not a single thing. Unless you wrote it, you can believe that I wrote that.
Right.
But once you step outside of anybody else, there's just all those things circulating, which gives us a good point. I said I wanted to go into a meme about sports. So there's a meme making the rounds, and I've seen it, at least 30 times. And basically, it's Trump. It looks like it's from his Truth Social. And it says, I'm paraphrasing here, but this is the first time. I don't care who wins this World Series. They're both creeps, and I wouldn't invite any of them. They're losers, because they're California and Canada. And California and Canada are losers. That's basically what it says. Well, would you see Trump saying that? Of course. I could see him saying it. But here's the thing. He didn't say it. All right. It's just a made up, whether it was made up as satire, whether it was made up out of misdirection, but it's not. And I've started a new thing on my page, and it'll be coming out on some of the other work that I do. And I call it Fair is Fair and a Fact is a Fact. And I'm going to start spending more time looking, especially at anti-Trump memes, at anti-MAGA memes, simply because we don't have to make up stuff. They're bad every day, every minute of the day, just saying what they do truthful. And you don't, but when you get to the point, and I'm going to say that I would say that to anybody, anyone who believes anything on the internet.
So what do we do though, Dave? It's.
Well, you disregard it. You yeah.
I mean, what
it's a
can
good
you
question.
regard?
Excellent question.
I mean, I'm not playing devil's
Well,
advocate. I'm just asking, what can we do?
you look, you wait. Okay, so you run everything through a quick check. Whether you do Snopes, whether you do, I'll tell you what's a really good one is if you do a image reversal, and what that does, it actually gets the time and date of the stamp, and it can tell you whether it's a real picture. So you really have two things going on. You have AI making things up, which it does, and then you have people, really creative people making these creative memes. And Gavin Newsom, it shows that it's very easy to mimic Trump's voice, and I don't mean his vocal, his style, Trump's style. So what I would suggest to people is, don't believe pictures and memes. That's number one. Well, pictures, not memes, number one. Do not believe it unless you can verify that indeed it is real and said. There's any, on any given day, and that's one side of it. Now you've got what I call the harmless idiot memes. I don't know if you've been following those, Brian, or you get them on your feed. And sometimes it can be anybody. Jalen Hurts, what an American. He just spent a $65 million
Right,
bonus
yeah. You can't, and then they'll say, find out the rest of it in the first comment, or something below, or something like that. And then you have to click.
And so you get to that point, and we used to know where the made up stories were. You would read them when you went to the supermarket on the weekend, and you'd look at National Enquirer and Weekly World and Bat Boy and all that stuff. Now it comes on our feed every day, and sometimes it sounds believable for a moment, and then again you have to ask yourself, and this is something that I have to do myself because I do a lot of posting on a lot of different places. Is it really important that I post this, or you find a place where if it is wrong, you can quick like. I encourage everyone to go on the page that you started, Divided We Stand Facebook page,
and we are growing. We are growing. Last few months, we've
we will. And what happens with that is, even if you make a mistake, it's much easier to correct it, simply because we're like minds. I'm running a 10-part series. Today was, I think it was 8 of 10 reasons why I allow Trump supporters to post on my
your
Facebook.
personal page.
Yeah, personal page. And there's many reasons, but the big reason is, I mean, the three are: I want them to, because they're wrong. Okay, they're wrong. That's number one. Number two, I don't believe in censorship unless unless it's actually directly harmful for someone. And then the third is it allows me to fuck with them, and I like doing that. Can I be smarter than them? I would hope so.
And by the way, it
And
seems to be very
are.
effective because your friends or your Trump friends are responding to what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
and
not
that's
in
what I'm.
the
well,
way you want them to, but they're doing
Oh
it.
no, they are
And
responding.
that's getting a
They're responding the way I
response.
want them to. I want them to respond because again, I don't know. Everybody's on my page. I know. I don't
Right.
allow anyone, and never allow. So I've known them, and I know, whether they were good people, bad people, what they were prior to Trump, uh, what they are now. I also actually I admire them. I really do. To come on that page because my page is liberal heavy, right?
Right.
But they come on there and they voice their opinion, and that's fine.
David,
Um,
I mention that because maybe it's just me, but for example, for myself, from a personal standpoint, I post a lot, and I'm not looking for anybody to comment. It's just a thing with
Just
me. If
post,
I like
right.
something, I'm going to post it. But if somebody else posts something, I won't comment on it unless there's really only two reasons that I will comment on a post is if I really do have some interest in the comment, or I care about
Right.
the person, and I'm going to make a comment. That's it. And so it's very, very rare, unless I have any of those two things happening, I will not comment. But people who, and I think that we're not terribly different from each other. There are some people who have to comment on everything, but I have noticed
no,
on
no,
your
no.
your Trump
No,
page
I
thing,
choose.
they do comment.
I mean, I
People
also no. I don't. I don't comment. Let's say this. I probably make 9 posts at least to every comment that I make. Right.
Mhm.
I mean, the majority is putting things out there, and of course I have a motive. Like I think 3 reasons that Donald Trump, or a few reasons, I shouldn't say 3, a few reasons why Donald Trump shouldn't be president. Number one, anybody who dances like he does should not be
Oh,
president. I'm sorry.
like he does this.
Number two, anybody who has their tie 4 inches below their belt should not be president.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out of place.
And we could go on and on and on and on about what Trump should do. But anybody who refers to themselves in the third person in a personal Facebook, Twitter,
Right.
social, Truth Social post, and you just say that all the time. Well, Trump is. No, you are. What do you? And then he has that thing that just drives me crazy. So I use it whenever I'm asking. I have a thing now where I'll put on a post or put on something, a picture of me or whatever, and I'll just have a line in saying, "Would any Trump supporters like to comment on this?"
Mhm.
Question mark. And then the second line is, "Thanks for your attention to this matter."
Right.
Who in their right mind, other than Donald Trump, would do that? Who would? Nobody would do that.
Right.
So, Donald Trump, there is nothing, honestly, that I can find in the 20 years that I've been following him. And when I say that, I was a reporter when
Right.
he came to Atlantic City, and I was a reporter for the press of Atlantic City. So I've known Mr. Trump for a while. And there's nothing redeeming, not one socially redeeming
Yeah, well,
characteristic.
we've talked about this before, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but the man apparently is mentally ill in whatever way.
Well,
I don't know what it is, but it's something.
yes. Well, and of course, and I understand that. And under normal circumstances, I would say that, we should treat him somewhat, but the man is just a damage causer and destroyer everywhere he goes. So we're having a conversation this week in DC, and we're talking about with a group of protesters that I hang out with,
Mm.
and we're talking about Michelle Obama. You and I've had this talk. When they go low, we go high.
Right.
And I said, that's nice, that's noble. It doesn't work with a bully. It never has. But here's the other thing too. Trump will go so low that really The only thing you don't have to do is kill his, shoot dead a person on Fifth Avenue like he said he could do,
Right. He said he
and you'll
could.
probably be higher than him. So there's that. So one more point. What was the other point? I think we did. Refresh my memory.
Well, we had the
I didn't
nuclear
make notes
testing, the Trump memes, and
Oh, nuclear testing. That's what I
Right.
want. All right. So of all the things that have happened,
And I
of
think this is the
course.
most important one of them all, because we
And
know
I,
that
and I
he
would
has
agree with you.
he's
I would agree.
limited
Absolutely.
the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and a lot of workers are losing their
So,
jobs.
so
And
you
we
have
could talk
that,
about
but
another
now you
Chernobyl
have,
here or 3 Mile Island.
and remember, a large number, Brian, of people said they voted for Donald Trump. He's a man of peace and he will not create wars. Okay. So killing
Except the Civil
innocent
War.
fishermen. Well, no, killing innocent fishermen. Let's start there.
Well, even if
Claiming-
they're, let's just say this, even if they're not innocent, let's suppose they're drug runners, there has to be some process so you don't
Exactly.
make them right. I mean, I have
Well,
no
that-
problem
there's-
going
there's-
after them if you've done the process if they're that bad.
There's
but I don't see it
there's
yet.
there's the key word. There's a process. Tonight I posted something and found out it was true that Catholic priests, bishops, nuns, and lay people pleaded to allow for All Saints Day, which is one of the biggest holidays in the Catholic Church, to be able to go in and do services at ICE detention centers, and it was denied.
But now, can we
So
also,
they're just
I just say we did discuss this. I know we're going
Yes.
left and right. Now, if I
And-
also
and we're
may
coming
say with
up
the
on there.
Nigerian thing, and Dave and I discussed this, Veg, privately prior to the show. Dave and I both agree. If I can speak for you, Dave. Dave and I
Yeah, you
both
can always speak for
agree that there is a problem with fundamental Islamists killing a lot of Christians, and it's not been in the news. It's thoroughly underreported. It's a horrible thing.
Well-
so trying to stop that's not necessarily a bad thing, but again, it's
No,
the process
no,
and
no.
how you do it. Where you normally do it, you do it
There's-
international this or that.
there's the two things that I think separate Trump. Will never be able to make anything good for those two reasons. One is, as you say, Brian, there's always a process to do something.
Right.
Okay. I have no problem with arresting the people in those boats, but give them a process. Okay. Same with immigrants who are here without proper credentials, assuming that it wasn't the government that made it. I've talked to people who've been trying to get papers for 10 years and haven't been able to.
Or at least show the information. Like, for example, if we didn't go after Buchenwald during World War II, we probably should have just bombed it. And some people had information, but if you have the information, and we do know that there's a lot of Christians being killed in Nigeria, that is a fact.
and that's okay.
That is a
but
true
also-
genocide there. I mean, it's horrible.
Also, it is. But again, it's Trump. Does he really care about blacks in Nigeria?
I don't think he really cares at all.
No, he doesn't. What he cares about is riling up his Christian nationalist, fundamentalist, evangelical base in the United States. So here's something else that I've been preaching and preaching and preaching, especially to Trump people. Here's the thing. It's not just what you do. That's very important. But it's how you do it and why you do it. Let me repeat that. I used to do that with a teacher. So my mantra is, it's not just how you do something. I mean, it's not just what you do. It's how you do it and why you do it. And if any one of those are suspect, that undoes the whole thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So with Trump, many times he shouldn't do what he did. He certainly shouldn't do it for the reason he did it and all that. But I don't think I've seen a decision of his that qualified, in my way of thinking, that satisfied all three.
But we
Was
do know
the
the
right thing,
logic.
the what
Gary
to
pointed
do.
this out that this move is probably there to influence his Christian base. There is a connection there that makes sense.
And Cool Breeze Anthony talked about, and we don't know that yet. We know that there's been reports from the Pentagon that have come out and said, from their official documents that Trump and Hegseth there don't release, is that they don't know who are in those boats. They really don't. Now,
Well, they better, because, like I say, it's one thing to
They
know
don't.
that they are drug
They
runners.
don't. They don't. You can't. First of all, and I'm not saying there aren't drug runners there. I'm not. What I'm saying is, if the U.S. Navy can't stop a boat of that size, we got a problem. We could do it every time. It's just Trump. There's another kind of saying we see all the time, and I think it's somewhat true. They said, "Don't ask. Cruelty is the point. Don't ask. Cruelty is the point." And if you look at all the things that Trump and MAGA try to do, it's with utmost cruelty, right?
Right.
For example, I don't believe in heaven and hell. But there are times Trump and his people make me wish there were, because I know there would be a special place for them in hell. But did you notice that Governor Pritzker from Illinois asked respectfully? I mean, he can do it non-respectfully, but he just said, "Could we have the equivalent of a ceasefire so kids can go out on Halloween?" And you know what the response was from ICE? Absolutely not. Now, explain that one to me. It's just cruelty. There's no way that ICE should be able not to be able to and have masks on. No way. That's SS German shit. America should be above that. It shouldn't be doing it. Then Trumpers come on, "Oh, you want," and they killed. Shut up. That's whataboutism. I'm just saying.
And by the way, that seems to be the thing that everybody seems to be doing, perhaps even on the liberal side, is this whataboutism, and I'm getting so sick of it.
Oh yeah, well, of course,
it's not a way to entertain an
whataboutism
argument or defend an argument.
Well, no, and I would say, of the techniques that I've witnessed with the Trumpers that I deal with, whataboutism is their biggest weapon, and they don't even see, Brian, that what's wrong about whataboutism. Because remember, you've said it, and you've been right 1,000 times. They hate us,
Right.
and they don't hate Brian personally or Dave personally.
Well, they would if they knew us well enough.
And now, you know what? I don't know. I'm not even sure I don't think they're capable of that. They wouldn't love us, but what I'm saying is they just hate the idea of what they think a liberal is. And a liberal is anybody who doesn't think like them. So yeah, and so when you say, they would come, they just don't. So they don't even say this whataboutism. They're saying, we're okay, but what about your guy? What about Biden? What about this person? And to get back on that nuclear, what disturbs me so much is, the joke is about that is that there are two red buttons in the Oval Office. One, Donald pushes and Diet Coke is delivered. The other delivers the nuclear bomb. Now that's not technically true, but do you really want someone as erratic as Donald Trump having to say? Now remember, we don't know what the military is thinking. We don't right now. Okay, I make it a point whenever I can find military people. I actually flying here in DC. There was a couple sitting across from us, and we were waiting for a flight about an hour, and we ended up talking for an hour. And he has been with the military and the Pentagon for 50 years. Okay, so he's pretty well versed, in this. And so I asked him the question I asked everybody. I asked two questions. I said, I've been really impressed with the ability of the military that I've seen, because we have tons of military people living where I do. And they're really, really, really among the best and the brightest. They really are. And so that's one thing. And I said, has that been your experience? And he said, yes, it's been. And I said, the other is, I can't attest to this, but I really do think that they will follow the Constitution. In other words, when they have conflicting, they will put the Constitution ahead of following the commander-in-chief. And I really do believe that. Time may prove me wrong. But by the same token, with Trump doing this now, listen to this, not saying it's cause and effect.
Right.
Do you know what else is going to happen under the ballroom? Are you aware of what's going to happen under the ballroom?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen under the ballroom.
Educate me.
Well, not Again, remember, I lived there. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's going to be a ballroom, but that's also where the safety secure bunker is for the White House.
Really? Hmm.
So they're going to build a deeper, more safety secure bunker.
And doesn't that
So you've
sound
got
familiar
that.
in Russia?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then here's another one. Now this could all just be,
And they always say the military
no,
bases too.
no connections, but I don't. And that's what now. 4 of the major cabinet members are now residing on military bases in homes supposed to be for generals.
Okay.
A little scary there, okay? Then on top of all that, last week, and I understand why they did this, Venezuela asked for support from China and Russia. Now we know that there's not a country in the Americans that could challenge us militarily. Canada couldn't do it. Mexico couldn't do it. Certainly none of the Latin American countries could do it, and none of the South American countries. But Cuba, just follow the Cubans. When America shut the doors, where did they turn? Russia.
Right.
In Africa, countries are turning to China. Not so much. Russia's still, gets some in. But China right now is, if you're going to look at the economic
Still have the largest
rivals of
standing
America,
army in the world.
yeah.
You go to a ground war,
they've just come out with
you're
some.
gonna lose.
Yeah, and they've come out with some new weapons. So when you put all that together,
Very good new weapons
Now-
too, I should add.
well,
And I'm not a military
what is-
expert, but we do know that they
what
are
people and,
challenging.
military people have told me, the most vulnerable and the best attack on America would be a cyber attack. And I have a friend, in fact, he's Gary's friend too, that I've known since kindergarten, and he spent his career here in DC doing cybersecurity both for the Senate and for the White House.
This is the
And
smart
basically,
guy.
he could.
I
He's
know
he's way out there. But anyway, what he would tell, he couldn't say anything because of course it's classified. But what he would say is, he said, when I would go home at night, we were winning. Not that he made it, but
Mhm.
and by morning, they were back and up and running ahead of us. And what he was just saying is that, it's a never ending kind of battle. And can you imagine, nuclear war is horrifying. Okay. But cyber attack, everything we have would be gone.
Right.
You couldn't bank, you couldn't, so I don't
Get
want to
your
be an
pencils
alarmist.
out. That's all you have.
I don't want to be an alarmist, but I would say last week with Nigeria, which the bombing, continued bombing and expanded bombing, don't forget, they're now doing it on the Pacific side too. They're not just doing it on the Atlantic side of these fishing boats. The call for resumption of nuclear testing. And that's another thing. I don't know. I haven't read enough, but I'm going to comment. I saw an article which said this: the tonnage of bombs we have now, or they're both, is beyond underground testing. It will have to be tested above ground. Whoa.
No, we don't need that. That's for sure.
Well, that's where it's going to be.
I mean, we don't even need underground.
If it
Water
if it
tables,
can't be
hello.
underground,
Earthquakes,
it can't be.
whatever.
So I think now, again, end of the world shit, no. But very disturbing, and some terms. Now, here's the other thing too. Will Trump, and here's the question for everybody to ponder this week, we should and we will continue to put more pressure on Donald Trump. You don't back off, you double, you triple it to him. We are. His health is getting to him. We can play a role in making him less healthy. We can do all those things. However, when the rat goes crazy, right? Or the rat gets caged or is fearing, they do some weird things. And so it's not a reason to stop. But, well, you can ask, do you really think, and I would ask anybody, do you really think J.D. Vance is going to stop him? Do you really think that Mike Johnson is going to stop him? But as soon as I say those words, did you see 5 Republicans, including outgoing Senator Turtle Man McConnell, stopped Trump from doing the Canada
Right,
tariffs?
But yeah, but that didn't apply to the House, so it's not really. I mean, it's good
I
news,
understand
but
that.
it doesn't effectively do anything.
Well, but
Not
again,
yet. Not yet.
if no, and you've got
And they knew that too,
my,
Dave. They knew that
you've
going
got
in.
you've
All
got
five of them.
you've got the enigma of my lifetime, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has been making sense left and right
Yeah,
until
all of a sudden. Well, she's taking
uh,
advantage of the situation now.
well,
Which
exactly.
means she
But
knows
here's the thing.
better.
Just when you gotta say, man, she then comes out with aliens are demons falling from heaven. So she's still out there. We can't bring her on, yet.
Absolutely.
But
She's
she can
a liar. She's
she can be
everything
our
we've
she
ever
can
believed
be
her
our
to be.
frenemy. But again, Lauren Boebert, another one, who was kind of siding with Marjorie. But then this week, they came out. I don't know if anybody's seen it. There was a memo of her dressed in like a sombrero, saying something about, did you see something? Completely made up, but it's being posted and reposted and posted and reposted. Again, I'm not a charter member of the Lauren Boebert fan club. What I am saying is two things. One, don't get taken in, and don't repost. It's just it serves nothing. It serves no purpose other than to give them ammunition. And I've done it, so I'm not, I have to be careful too. Just it gives them ammunition. They say that was wrong. We don't need that. What they do on the surface is wrong enough.
All right.
So Brian, the clock's ticking down as always.
Right.
So let's go to kind of the wrap up. You always usually go first in this. So based just on the news from the last time we had the show last Sunday, more optimistic, less optimistic, where do you stand?
Okay, for the first time this year, I am going to say I am fairly optimistic. I think there's enough bad going on and frustration, and I think as most news agencies are reporting that the blame for the shutdown is now on the Republicans. Nothing's getting done, and as I've said, I've seen frustrated Facebook posters. When it starts hitting the wallet and you get desperate, I think you're going to see change. And it looks like as you said, you have five senators who went against him. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's a start. And I think people, just over time, people will just get sick and tired of seeing the same faces. And there will be some individuals who are just going to try to overtake him. Eventually, there's going to be somebody who's going to get the idea, because they have an ego too, that they're going to maybe Vance. I don't know, but maybe Vance can't now.
You're absolutely 100% right. And I'm going to say, what is it? I'm going to Solomon half the baby. What I saw, the same things you saw, I agree, make me more optimistic. But I'm very concerned about this nuclear testing.
And we have been. I mean, it's not just the testing; it's the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the supervision and regulation.
In other words, yes, your point is well taken, Brian. In other words, if they do it, the experts aren't there; they're not there. So, what do you do? Get Laura Loomer and say, "Hey, Laura, test this shit for us."
Right.
And so, but overall, I would say, again, not as optimistic as I'd like to be based on what happened, because pulling back from that. But I think for us, if you're charting it, I think it, and you happen to believe as I do that we're the good guys, I think it was a pretty good week for the good guys. That's what I think.
No, I mean, I don't think it was anything the Democrats did, by the way. It's just what the Republicans have been doing. They're cannibalizing now.
Sometimes you don't. I mean, sometimes it's better, to let them destroy themselves. Now, the last thing I want to say is how this affects everything that we do. People say, well, I'm not interested in politics. So as I said, I'm on this cruise. There are, I think, 2,800 of us on this cruise, right? And like everything else, they have social media. So there's a Malt Shop Memories official Facebook page, and there's a Malt Shop Memories fans page. And people on the fans page have been posting, let's keep politics at home. We're going out for music. We're going out to, remember a time that was good. And yesterday, as we boarded ship, I saw it. A lot of people saw it. a gentleman, and there might have been more, but I saw one gentleman boarded with a "Make America Great" hat again, and that's create quite a disturbance on the ship because people are saying don't do that. So, but whether we like it or not, two things are true. We are now governed by pop culture. That is true.
Yes.
And we are divided politically. And those two things, I have no idea if they can end, let alone will they end. So, and then you have to ask the question, is it really bad that this guy wore this hat? Well, a lot, it's the same as Trump having that Gatsby thing.
Right.
No, but you're offending people. Do you have to have that hat on? No. Now and I didn't bring one on this trip. I have a dozen now, I'm up to a dozen anti-Trump shirts, and I wear them in rotation in DC, and I have no problem with that because but on this ship, out of deference to everybody, that's not what we're here for. But politics is that important right now, and it's the ball game, so I understand it. But just again, I guess maybe my theme for this week is be aware of what you're posting, be aware of what you're saying, just be aware.
Right. Great advice, Dave. We should all be aware. Keep your head on a swivel. So, all right, Dave. Thanks a lot. Unfortunately, again, we didn't have Kevin show up. I would think that there may be some issues.
When I'll wait till tomorrow, but I'll text him tomorrow, Brian.
Will you do that, please? Because I'll be at work.
Yeah, I will, because I actually have a question.
We're always worried about Kevin's health. Not to get too involved, but Kevin's had 2 heart attacks.
No, well, he, like many of us, he has the problems that come with aging. Right. I mean, Kevin, when you were playing hockey with him, it's not the same Kevin. Just like it's not the same Brian.
This is Kevin here when he played for the Frontenacs.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
There's our guy.
And he's for anybody who doesn't know him, he is a really phenomenal guy. He probably cares. I mean, he cares deeply. He understands politics, of course. And it's just interesting, again, to hear the Canadian view, because Trump has declared economic war on Canada.
Right.
So,
because they simply don't give in to his shit. And thank God they don't give in to his shit.
Right.
And if it takes Canada to do it, so be it. Great. Because I'll be on their side on this one. They're my brothers. And you are too, Dave. So thank you very much. And
all right, man.
Listen, folks, I definitely won't have a show next week. I can't. I'll be away during the weekend. And so we'll try to figure something out. Maybe, I don't know, during the week. I probably could do a show Thursday night, by the way, Dave, if you're still on that.
Well, that sounds cool. I mean, again, it depends on my schedule here.
Right.
So,
all right.
But, all righty.
All right. Say hello
Thank
to Paul
you,
Anka
everyone, for
us.
watching,
Is
listening,
Paul Anka there?
viewing. Pardon me?
Paul Anka's there, you said, or no?
Tonight, yeah. What they do, which is interesting, just for anybody who hasn't been on a music cruise, some artists will not go on them at all, right?
Right.
And some are just too big. Like the Rolling Stones aren't going to do a music cruise. Bruce Springsteen is not going to do a music cruise. There's a great story. I asked the cruise director here. I said, "Is there anybody you ever wanted to get, and you couldn't?" And he said, "Yeah, because they have a country cruise." He said, "We really wanted Dolly Parton." And so they set up a meeting with Dolly, and I don't do a good Dolly impersonation, but they made the whole pitch to her. She said, honey, if I wanted to be on a ship, I'd buy me one and just sail it. So I'm honored, but I ain't doing it. Right. So, there are those kind of people. Then there are Paul Anka people. Paul will come on the ship, but he will not sail with it. So what they do is they kept us in port a night, an extra night. So he did a show at what time he's doing. In fact, his shows were at 6 and 8:30. So he's done his early show, and then he'll just go off ship. So yes,
I hope he doesn't sound like David Lee Roth, Dave.
Well, I won't hear him, and that wasn't a great loss because, as I said, this particular ship is for my wife and for my brother-in-law, and there's a few people I like on it. And that's fine. You don't have to like everything.
One last thing I just want to mention, because I'm a fan of Renaissance. Joey Folch right now is a fan of Renaissance, and Annie Hassan was just an absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
vocalist. But she's going to be in Philadelphia. I mean, she lives in Pennsylvania now, even though she's obviously English. She's kind of lost.
Is she going to perform?
She still performs. She's 78, and she had almost that operatic voice. She had.
Oh yeah.
The pitches and everything like that, but she goes out of tune. But and I mentioned this to Ronnie the other night. She doesn't go out of tune like David Lee Roth. I don't know. I have a really tough time listening to anybody who's over 70 try to make a comeback at anything. It's just it's probably better to play an instrument and do that. But that's it.
Well, let's make that political. If you were to ask me tonight, should there be an age limit on at least federal politicians in the House, the Senate, and the presidency? I'm going to say yes. I believe that to be true. Because left to your own devices, and people that argue that say, well, there is an age limit. It's you got to get the votes. Eleanor Norton Holmes, not somebody probably known to a lot of our audience, she is the representative for the District of Columbia, the non-voting representative in the House. She has done tremendous things for Americans, tremendous things for DC. She is 88 years old and is talking about running for another term, will probably win simply because of name recognition, or people out of honoring her would not oppose her. And they somehow, I'm not really sure the details, but somehow people came to her house and scammed her out of like $4,000. And the police report said indications are she's in early signs of dementia.
Well, I still think we have to be careful with that, Dave, is that, some people, it's very difficult to be able to estimate. I mean, you can estimate somebody's biological age, but you have to be careful about chronological age.
No, I'm gonna say this. There's not a post 80 person in the world that is as sharp as they were at 70. That's
right.
Just true.
Look. Now, nobody's going to run a 500-yard dash if you're 70 years old. I
and
get
that's
that.
And sometimes I think that's what the other thing that concerns me, Brian, is technology is moving so quickly. And you've taught with teachers, and I taught with teachers who were so proud that they didn't even know how to turn a computer on when they left. But it's moving so quickly that the world, with Congress or with too white, too old, too rich. That's a problem in and of itself. Right. Too old, too white, too rich. The average age of America, I think, is 38. The average age of a congressman is 61. Wow. Well, it's a country represented by the wrong race in terms of domination, the wrong age, and there are more millionaires per capita in Congress than there are in the country.
Right. All right, Dave, I'm going to shut down now.
Go.
We'll see each other in 2 weeks,
week.
But perhaps during the later part of the week, there's an outside chance of having a show.
Who knows? Maybe Gary and I'll run a show. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
All right.
All right. See you, folks.